My beloved child, you have carried a question that has followed you into quiet evenings and restless nights. It has echoed through moments when no one else could hear it. You have wondered whether the person your heart longs for spent a beautiful night with someone else, laughing without you, smiling in ways you once hoped were meant only for you. That thought has weighed heavily upon your spirit, and it has tried to convince you that what you fear must also be the truth. But I ask you not to let your heart run ahead of heaven's wisdom. I have come because your mind has been building a story from pieces it cannot fully see. The shadows have whispered conclusions before the light has had a chance to reveal what is real. There are moments when appearances seem complete, yet they hide an entirely different ending. Tonight, I invite you to walk with me beyond what your eyes imagine and into what God already knows. Imagine standing on the edge of a quiet cliff just before dawn. The sea below is hidden beneath a thick blanket of mist. From where you stand, it seems as though there is nothing but endless gray. Yet the sun has already begun to rise beyond the horizon. It is shining even though your eyes cannot yet receive its light. This is where many hearts lose hope. They mistake temporary fog for permanent reality. Your situation is not as simple as it appears. The night you keep replaying in your mind may seem perfect from a distance, but perfection seen through fear is often an illusion. What looks like happiness from the outside may carry unanswered questions behind closed doors. What appears to be certainty may actually be confusion hidden beneath polite smiles. Human beings are skilled at displaying peace while carrying storms no one else notices. I do not tell you this to encourage suspicion toward anyone. I tell you this because heaven never asks you to build your future upon assumptions. Remember the story of Joseph. His brothers saw one version of his life when they sold him into slavery. They believed they had written the final chapter. Years later, God revealed that what looked like defeat had become the very path that preserved countless lives. What people believed they understood was only the beginning of a much greater story. As it is written in Genesis 50:20, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good." Those words remind us that heaven often works beneath the surface long before anyone recognizes it. The same God who guided Joseph through hidden years has not stopped working in hidden places today. There are conversations you never heard. There are tears no one witnessed. There are prayers whispered into pillows long after everyone else had fallen asleep. Not every evening that seems joyful is truly peaceful. Not every shared moment creates lasting love. Many people mistake temporary comfort for deep connection, only to discover later that something essential was missing all along. That is why I ask you to guard your imagination. Fear has a way of taking one unanswered question and turning it into 1,000 painful conclusions. It paints detailed pictures that feel convincing even when they have no foundation. Before long, your heart begins grieving events that may never have happened as you imagined them. Beloved soul, heaven does not want you imprisoned by stories written by anxiety. Instead, God calls you into truth. Jesus said in John 8:32, "Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Notice that he did not say assumptions would set you free. He did not say fear would guide you. Truth has always been the path to freedom, even when it takes time to arrive. There is something unfolding that you cannot yet measure. Every hour you spend chasing imagined scenes is an hour stolen from the peace God desires to place within you. The enemy delights when your thoughts become louder than your faith. But I stand beside you as a guardian, reminding you that heaven has never lost sight of your story, even when you feel forgotten. As I watch over you, I see threads being woven together that you cannot yet recognize. Some threads appear tangled today, yet the master weaver has never created a meaningless design. What seems confusing in this moment will one day become a testimony of divine timing and unexpected mercy. So before you decide that one night has determined your future, pause. Breathe. Lift your eyes beyond what fear has shown you. Because what I am about to reveal next is not merely about where your soulmate was, it is about what was happening inside their heart while heaven was quietly preparing a truth neither of you could yet understand. And when that truth comes into the light, you will realize why the angels refused to let your hope die too soon. There is something I have waited to tell you, but your heart first needed to become quiet enough to receive it. You have been focusing on where your soulmate was that night. Heaven has been focused on who they were becoming. Those are not the same thing. Many people believe destiny changes in grand moments that everyone can see. Yet some of the greatest turning points happen in silence, hidden behind ordinary conversations, forced smiles, and long drives home beneath a sky filled with stars. What looked like a perfect evening from the outside became a mirror that reflected truths your soulmate could no longer ignore. They expected to feel complete. Instead, they walked away carrying an emptiness they could not explain. Have you ever stood beside a beautiful lake at sunset? From a distance, the water looks perfectly still, almost flawless. But beneath the surface, powerful currents move in directions invisible to every passing traveler. That is how that night truly was. Calm on the outside. Restless underneath. The laughter you imagine. It faded. The excitement. It could not silence the deeper questions rising within their spirit. Because God has placed something inside every human heart that cannot be satisfied by appearances alone. Even when people try to convince themselves they have found peace, the soul recognizes the difference between temporary comfort and lasting purpose. That evening became a quiet awakening. Not because someone forced it. Not because everything suddenly went wrong. But because heaven gently allowed the illusion to reveal its limits. There came a moment. Perhaps while driving home, perhaps while sitting alone in the darkness, when silence became louder than every conversation they had shared. And in that silence, your name did not disappear. It returned. Not as an obsession. Not as fantasy. But as an unanswered question that refused to leave. Why? Because some connections are remembered by the soul long before the mind understands them. Do not misunderstand my words. I am not asking you to place your hope in another imperfect person. Place your hope in the God who sees every hidden road before anyone takes the first step. Remember how Elijah expected to find the Lord in the mighty wind, the earthquake, and the fire. Yet God spoke through a gentle whisper instead, as recorded in 1 Kings 19. Heaven often works with quiet movements that human eyes overlook. While everyone searches for dramatic signs, God transforms hearts through whispers that cannot be heard by crowds. That whisper reached farther than you realize. It reached places inside your soulmate they had carefully locked away. Questions began to rise. What am I truly searching for? Why do I still feel unfinished? Why does something keep pulling my thoughts back? Those questions became more powerful than the excitement of the evening itself. This is why I have asked you not to judge your story by one single night. One chapter never reveals the entire book. The enemy wants you to believe that what happened for a few hours has more authority than God's eternal plan. But tell me, when has heaven ever surrendered its purpose because of one evening? When did the creator of galaxies become limited by a single human decision? He did not. He never will. Even now, there are conversations taking place inside hearts that no one else can hear. Even now, prayers are rising from lips that have not yet spoken your name aloud. Even now, God is exposing motives, removing distractions, and allowing hidden truths to surface in His perfect timing. You have been asking, why did this happen? Heaven has been asking something far greater. What needed to be revealed before two lives could move forward in truth? Those are very different questions. Do not allow impatience to steal tomorrow's testimony. A fruit picked before its season may look beautiful, but it lacks the sweetness it was created to carry. In the same way, God's timing protects blessings from becoming burdens. That protection is happening even when you cannot recognize it. As I stand beside you, sword of light in hand, I see battles you never had to fight because God fought them before they ever reached your door. I have watched lies collapse before they could become permanent chains around your heart. I have seen prayers your eyes forgot but heaven never ignored. So I ask you to resist one temptation. Do not let comparison become your counselor. The pictures you create in your imagination are incomplete. The scenes you fear are missing details only heaven knows. And the truth that is about to unfold carries one revelation that could change the way you have interpreted everything until now. Listen carefully. The person you believe experienced the perfect night did not wake up the next morning with greater certainty. They woke up with greater clarity. Those are not the same thing. Because certainty built on appearances fades. But clarity given by God begins a transformation that no human plan can stop. Stay with me a little longer, beloved soul. What I am about to reveal next is the hidden conversation that followed. A conversation no crowd witnessed, no photograph captured, and no outward smile could ever tell. It was in that unseen moment that heaven quietly began turning the key to a door that had remained locked for far too long.